Is a big trade on the horizon for the New York Knicks? That's what we're breaking down on today's show. As longtime New York Knicks beat reporter Marc Berman says, Leon Rose is still cooking and trying to make a trade for a big-time center. We'll break that down around the corner. But first, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, because if the Knicks make a move, we're going to get you guys a video as soon as possible. And we are in a subscriber battle with Philadelphia 76ers now, another channel here at Chat Sports. I hate Philadelphia, I hate the Sixers, and I hate Joel Embiid, and I know you do too. So if you love the Knicks and you want free videos every day, hit that sub button and help us catch them. You're watching Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green, and Marc Berman, former New York Post beat reporter for the New York Knicks, tweeted out this morning saying, quote, Leon Rose was in the first row of the press conference yesterday, sitting by Mikal Bridges' mother. He didn't talk, but he's still cooking. He wants to make big center move after Philly's two additions. Heard Houston's Sengun has been on his radar, even Detroit's Jalen Duren, and that was before the Pistons signed Paul Reed. This report comes on the heels of CP the Fanchise. Shout out to CP of Knicks Fan TV. He broke a report on his show saying the Knicks remain interested in a Karl-Anthony Towns trade. So you have Berman of the New York Post reporting that Sengun and Duren are still on the table for the Knicks, and Leon Rose wants to make a big-time move at the center position. And then CP says that Karl-Anthony Towns is still someone the New York Knicks are interested in when it comes to making a trade. Let's connect some dots here as some big-time reports are coming out. Why have the New York Knicks not re-signed Precious Achiuwa? They own his bird rights. They theoretically could pay him whatever it would take for him to ink a deal to return to the New York Knicks. Why have they not re-signed him? Could they maybe be trying to use him in a sign-and trade to match some salary? We'll talk more about that around the corner. Number two, is Julius Randle going to extend with the New York Knicks? Are the Knicks going to give Julius Randle a good enough offer for him to sign it and remain with this ball club? Randle has until August 3rd, or he can sign that deal, on August 3rd. That is the first date that he can sign that contract extension. And the max the New York Knicks could offer him is 4 years, $181.5 million. I do not believe the Knicks will offer him a full contract extension max offer. I do not think that would happen. I think Randle would like to sign this, but I think it's more likely than not. And if you've been listening to other beat reporters like Fred Katz or Ian Begley, they don't think a contract extension for Randle gets done this summer, which means that there is a chance that next summer he's a free agent, which means he does not operate under team control. And the Knicks need to have a real conversation. If Randle does not put pen to paper on that extension, could they look to move him in a trade to acquire somebody that is under team control for the foreseeable future? Pay attention to that. Also, why are we hearing Karl-Anthony Towns' name again? We heard Towns' name for the last 3 years as a trade target for the New York Knicks. Yes, he's CAA. Yes, he's blooded into the mafia. But why are we hearing his name now? And why hasn't Precious Achiuwa re-signed? And why does it sound like Julius Randle is being mentioned in trade rumors yet again? Also, no signing of a backup center. You're telling me the Knicks' plan this season, after going all in for Anunoby and all in for Mikal Bridges, is to have a center rotation of Jericho Sims off the bench with Mitchell Robinson starting and Ariel Huck-Porty being your third center? The New York Knicks are way too smart to operate like that. And why was there Davis Bertans' interest for the New York Knicks? Why? He's a veteran minimum player. They could wait to sign him. Do they want a cheap shooting power forward off the bench? That way they can go and make a trade for a center and still maybe have Jericho be that backup center. A lot of things are going on right now. No re-signing of Achiuwa. Probably want to use him in a sign-and trade. Is Randle going to sign that extension? People don't think so. Why are we hearing Cat's name again? Why have they not signed a backup center? And why are they interested in a veteran minimum stretch power forward? Leon Rose is 100% up to something, and he is cooking something up. He knows that the time to win is now. You've built this roster to compete for this year and the next couple of years. And going all in for OG, giving him that $200+ million deal, and trading the control of 6 first-round picks to the Brooklyn Nets to acquire Mikal Bridges, it's not to enter the season with the center rotation of Mitchell Robinson, Jericho Sims, and Harry Huckporty. No disrespect to those players, but Robinson is the only thing that he is really proven in his NBA career outside of being a great shot blocker and a great offensive rebounder is he is going to miss significant time. Jericho Sims is nothing more than a third or fourth center on a team, and Ariel Huckporty was selected last in the NBA draft. The New York Knicks are absolutely trying to make a trade for a center right now. Who could they get? Well, if they're going to make a big-time move, it's going to involve Julius Randle and most likely Mitchell Robinson if they are trading for a high salary-costed player. You get $30.3 million from Randle, $14.3 million for Robinson. You're close to $44 million in a trade. And maybe if you want to trade for Karl-Anthony Towns, who makes $49 million, you might also have to include Precious Achiuwa in a sign-and trade. It gets a little bit wonky when you talk about a cat trade to the New York Knicks. It would have to be a 3-team trade. Someone else would have to get involved. Other players, though, that play the center position that make a similar amount of money where the Knicks could pull off a trade by using the salary of Randle and Robinson. Look, I'm not advocating for any of these 3 players. I'm just connecting dots and telling you the things that might happen. Sabonis makes $40 million. You could trade Randle and Robinson for Sabonis. I would not do that, but I do think that is a player that is on their radar. And then DeAndre Ayton also probably on the radar of the New York Knicks, making $34 million per year. You trade Randle and Robinson there. They just drafted Donovan Clingan. They also have Robert Williams on their team. These are really the only 3 centers that make in the ballpark of what this combined salary of Robinson and Randle would be. The Cat thing is a little bit tricky, right? He makes a lot of money, and he's under team control for quite some time. He's going to make $49.7 million this year, $53.6 in 2025, then $57 in 2026, and as a player option of $61 million in 2027, 2028. That's a lot of damn money. It absolutely is. But that's the way the NBA is working right now. And Cat, whether I think he is soft or whether I think he's a little bit weird and his press conference sound bites are a little bit odd, the guy's a good basketball player. Is he the best player on a championship team? No, his salary kind of says he is, though. Is he the second best player on a championship team? I don't necessarily think that either. But I think it'd be a great third option. And playing alongside Brunson, Anunoby, and Bridges, that makes him the 4th best player. And the Knicks could use a big man that could shoot the outside shot. Cat does it better than almost anybody in this league over the last 4 seasons. He's averaging 5.5 three-pointers attempted a game, and he's shooting almost 40% over the last 4 years. A closing lineup of Brunson, Bridges, Hart, Anunoby, and Karl-Anthony Towns, that's a lot of space, that's a lot of shot making, and that's a lineup, in my opinion, that could challenge the Boston Celtics, who are clearly the motivator for the way the New York Knicks are building this ball club right now by adding Bridges and Anunoby. Pick a player, though, because if you're trading for Cat, you're giving up Julius Randle. Who would you rather have on your team, JR or Cat? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. For me, I truly do believe that Julius Randle is a better basketball player. 2-time All-NBA player, 3-time All-Star, and he was on his way to another All-NBA selection this year before that shoulder injury. I believe that Randle as a first option is better than Cat. We saw that when he led Reggie Bullock, Elfrid Payton, and Nerlens Noel to the number 4 seed. We also have seen Randle as the number 2 option be a player that can help a team get 50 wins. We do know the struggles in the playoffs. What I would say is, even though I think Randle is better, I think Karl-Anthony Towns is a much better fit offensively for the New York Knicks. He shoots the ball better. He passes the ball just as good, maybe a little bit better. I think he is a little bit better of a rebounder considering his size. But when you talk about spacing the floor, and the Knicks, what they want to do is have as much space as possible for Jalen Brunson to cook in the middle of the floor. When you got OG in one corner, Bridges in the other, Karl-Anthony Towns in the pick and pop with Josh Hart playing that Draymond Green role, that's a really good offense. There's no doubt about that. But are you willing to part with Randle and probably something else to match that salary? That's the question that Leon Rose will have to answer. Coming up next, we're going to break down Alperen Sengun and Jalen Duren. As Berman mentioned, both of them as potential trade targets for the Knicks. But make sure you're subscribed and help us beat 76ers Now, a Chat Sports NBA channel, and subscribers picked up this month. Do it now. Hit the sub button. Come on. All right, there's reports coming out that the Rockets have no interest in offering Alperen Sengun a max contract extension. That's probably why the New York Knicks checked in on him, according to Marc Berman, and that is why his name is being floated around in trade rumors. Look, I think Sengun is one of the most gifted offensive young players in this league. Just 21 years old and coming off an amazing season for Houston last year. He's only been in the NBA for 2 years, and he's gotten better, and he's only going to continue to get better and better. What does he do at a high clip? He is an elite playmaker, averaging over 5 assists this past year. You can play him at the top of the key and be a playmaking hub. He's got that ability that Hartenstein does, but to be honest with you, I think he's much better of a playmaker than Hartenstein. He's baby Nikola Jokic, in my opinion. We know Tibbs teams that have operated at the highest level have a center that can move the ball and create for others, a la Joakim Noah and Isaiah Hartenstein. Sengun, a much better offensive player than both those guys, not nearly the defensive player he is. Going to continue to grow in that aspect. But if you have a lineup that features Bridges, Hart, and Anunoby, 3 really good wing defenders, maybe you could take a little bit less as a rim protector in Alperen Sengun, and you add more of an offensive threat that opens this team up and makes them extremely dynamic on that side of the floor. I think you can make the argument that this is the best potential starting 5 in the NBA. You still got Deuce McBride coming off the bench with Dante DiVincenzo. More moves would have to be made to fill out the rest of the roster, but I'd go to battle with this starting 5 and DiVincenzo and Deuce off the bench against any team in the NBA. To be honest with you, I've been hinting at it for a couple of weeks now. Shout out to my guy, Nick Cooper. He kind of called me out on it, and you know what? I'll just say it at this point. Alperen Sengun is my number 1 center trade target for the New York Knicks. The pick and roll, pick and pop offense with Brunson and Sengun. It would be one of the best 2-man duos in the NBA. Another guy that can create for others. It allows Brunson to play off ball, get back to being one of the best spot-up players in the NBA. You find those backdoor cuts to Bridges, in Hart, and Anunoby. The team on offense would be one of the best in the NBA, and he's only 21 years old. He's going to be really good for a really long time. Jalen Duren was the other player mentioned by Berman as a trade target for the New York Knicks. This is a guy that the Knicks liked a lot in the draft process. He actually selected by the Knicks, drafted, trade to the Pistons, a part of that salary cap spacing move to acquire Jalen Brunson. 6'11", 250 pounds, 20 years old. He's going to continue to grow after he had a great season for Detroit last year, averaging 14 points per game, nearly 12 rebounds, 3.1 on the offensive end. Can be better as a defender. I think going to a team that's competing for something more than lottery ping pong balls and learning under Tom Thibodeau, he could turn into one of the best defensive centers in this league. But he's got a little bit more game than I think is advertised on offense, averaging 14 points. He's not just a Mitchell Robinson that operates at the dunker spot. A little bit more bouncy, not nearly the size at 7'1" that Robinson is, but at 20 years old, cost controlled for 2 more seasons, and someone that, in my opinion, has an extremely high ceiling. Makes a lot of sense for the New York Knicks to be interested in Duren. Look, I think the Knicks have to add a starting center. I know I tweeted it out a couple of weeks ago, and people didn't love it. I said I'd trade Mitch and Deuce for a starting center. People are like, well, Mitchell Robinson is a starting center. Yeah, he's also starting on the injury report for half the season every single year. One time in the last 4 years as he played more than 59 games. And to be honest with you, I'm done with Mitchell Robinson. He's not a grown-up, man. He is not someone that is willing to do whatever it takes to win. I need more players that Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, Dante DiVincenzo, and Mikal Bridges mindset. He's just a big kid, and there's nothing wrong with that. Look at this. 1, he's still posted on Snapchat. That's weird. 2, he posted this picture and said, F y'all, I'm working like I said, B word. Posting a picture of your pit sweat doesn't mean you're working. Get a new trainer, work on some free throws, improve your skill level somewhere across the floor, and become reliable. Because right now you're not. You miss too much time. This team's trying to win a championship. This year, next year, and the next years after that. We don't have time to be playing around with big kid Mitchell Robinson. I'm just done with him. I need a grown-up. I need someone that's willing to do whatever it takes. And he's talking about shooting threes next year. I don't know, man. I don't know. Make sure you are following me on social media. You want to talk more about Mitch, you want to talk more about the Knicks, hit me up over there at @MarshallGreen_. I'm on both platforms.